And welcome back. Happy Sunday if you're watching on a Sunday. Anyway, let's get straight into the video, no intro. So, you guys who've been watching the channel previously, you will know that I had a Vauxhall Vivaro which I kitted out. From that build, I had loads of insulation and sound deadening left over. So instead of going and buying new insulation, I thought the best opportunity for me was to use what I've already got to save cost. And you'll see as we get further into the video, you'll see how much of the very tinny sound that it gets rid of. So I've used the oscillating saw now to cut just up in the corners, which I'll show you a close up in a minute. So you do both bottoms, both tops. Get yourself a Stanley blade, and then they've just got some silicone down the sides here which you've got to cut into, and then it'll come off. Let's do it. Just like that. So now we've managed to get these strut braces off, I just want to show you guys a quick way. So what you'll see is the remnants of silicone on here, which is what holds the back of the strut. So best way to get one of them off, I'll show you now. So I haven't got a scraper of any description, and I didn't really want to ruin the metalwork. So what I found the best possible thing is this stuff, which I always used to use in the workshop, brake and clutch cleaner, really good stuff. And also I've got a selection of what we call plastic wedges. That's the one I'm using. I better go and grab that. I had to go to the furthest point, didn't it? Quick squirt. It's a bit difficult because I've only got one hand, but the brake and clutch cleaner really does bring it off quite well. So that's the best thing I've found to use, brake and clutch cleaner, plastic wedge, and it gets the worst off, and it does actually bring it back down to the metal if you keep going, but I'm pretty happy with how flat it is, so I'm going to leave it at that. Right then guys, the last video you would have seen was of me taking this strut brace out. As you can see now, we've put, when we did the Vivaro, we had quite a bit of leftover insulation. If you're doing a camper build yourself, you'll know it's very expensive. So what we've done is we've used our old insulation, and we've put it on this bit here. So obviously the bed's going to be widthways, so that's where we're going to be sleeping. So the idea is, is either have some lino glued against this or have some carpet. But next thing now for us, we've run out of insulation. We've got some aluminium tape, so we're just going to tape up all the seams, etc. Let's crack on and do it. Scissors, always important, guys. Snippity sniff. Right, we've actually come to an abrupt finish at the moment then. So insulation is on. You can see from just up here, that's where we ran out of tape. So we've got to go and get some more tape or get some on order. In fact, I think Aldi are doing it at the moment for $1.99 or 99p, I think it was. But for the main vapour area, we're going to be starting to get the thick stuff. And we'll use that because we know it's quite thick, and I used it before in the Vivaro. Right, so this is it then. Partly insulated. Around here is probably the best side that's mostly done. In fact, most of that's all done. Give you guys a bit of a view from over here. Not much point putting anything in here because that's where the windows are going to go. It's all sound deadened now. Left up here, ready for the max air fan, which I'm looking forward to getting installed. So yeah, that's it guys. Anyway, this is Sunday, and I'll catch you probably in another week's time where we do a little bit more to the van. So the next part of this van build for me then was to apply the DODO thermo liner. Just to give you guys an idea, DODO do state as well that you're supposed to cover around 100% or as much as possible of that panel. The stuff I'm using here is a waterproof closed cell foam insulation. It absorbs heat, and it does absorb quite a lot of noise as well. So it does tend to stop that tinny, echoey noise as well. The good stuff about this thermo liner as well, it greatly reduces condensation build-up within the cab as well, or within the actual living space of the van. So in the winter, if you're like boiling the kettle or boiling a saucepan inside, the DODO thermal liner will actually stop the panels inside the van, sort of like acting like a radiator as well. So it tends to help keep it cooler in the van. So if you are using the DODO sound deadening, what they actually do recommend is that each panel must have a minimum coverage of around 30 to 50%. And what this is going to do is ensure that vibration or any resonance is kept to a minimum. Another thing they do suggest as well is if you are doing the wheel arches within the van, in my case, they do recommend that you cover 100% of the wheel arch. Another thing as well is if you are applying it to the roof and it's absolutely lashing it down, it is going to take some of that noise away. So hopefully it may give you a better sleep as well. Now I've been using the DODO thermo fleece. I must say to you guys, it is an absolute dream to handle. It is so easy to apply as well. And also the DODO thermo fleece as well, it's designed to absorb as much heat as possible and yet at the same time still not drawing in moisture from the air. Oh, sweet fluff of mine. Oh, sweet fluff of mine. God. Now that the DODO liner and the fleece are applied, it's time we started making that vapour barrier. And as you guys can tell from that last transition, a lot has happened in this van. We'll go through that in a sec though, but I just want to say a massive thanks to DODO for kitting me out with all the insulation required for this van build. This stuff, it's just been so easy to work with. The fleece liner, the thermo liner, that again in itself was just an absolute doddle to put on. You just cut it to size. It's just stuck on really, really well. But before I move into showing you what I've actually done further in this van, I really just would like to show you about another bit of kit, and it is this bad boy. This is the Hohem isteady M6 gimbal. One thing I do like about it, it's got like this AI tracking. So I could be working over here doing some B-roll for you, or I could actually be over here doing some drilling. So within the kit, you get the gimbal itself, and just to give you a look around, that's what it looks like. It has got so much technology built into it. It also comes with an additional tripod stand, which you can connect onto the bottom, which I'm going to be using. So one thing you will notice about this active tracking then, is it will just follow me around. So I could be working over here doing some B-roll for you, or I could actually be over here doing some drilling, or I could even come right up in front of you, and it's still going to follow me. So this active tracking, what a bit of kit it is indeed. You may have seen in a previous video where a Shropshire lad, he's bought his other gimbal or whatever. That was quite expensive, but this bit of kit, wow, just keep on following me, sunshine. Active tracking, it's beautiful bit of kit it is. And here's another good thing. All I have to do is put my hand up and it stops recording like that. You can see that it's got some sort of knob here, and look what it does. You can move it up and down. That's what happens to the gimbal. You can move it left, round. You can do so much with this, and there's so much special stuff you can do within the app as well to give you some cinematic. I really have not scratched the surface with this, but that active track I do like. So when I keep my finger on the button on the side here, it brings on this light. You've also got the dial here, which you can twist, and that will dim or make the light brighter. It's got that many different mode settings as well. I like to keep it on POV. The reason for that is because when I was reading the instructions, I know exactly what I'm doing in POV. But certainly when I'm back out in the van, I can set up some good shots for you guys, get it to follow active track, get the gimbal then to active track the van as I'm moving along, and it'll just look like someone's holding the camera. But even if I'm going out on a solo adventure, yeah, this will definitely be coming with me. And so, for any of you avid vloggers out there, any of you content creators out there, I'm going to leave a link in the description to the isteady M6. Go and check it out. Go and make sure it's the right one for you guys. Anyway, link in the description, as I said. Now let's crack on and give you guys a bloody good update on what I've actually been doing on this van. I've been working my ass off. And so, one of the biggest jobs I didn't film, which I wanted to get done in peace and quiet without having the hassle of moving the camera, putting the camera down, get it in at a different angle to get a different shot, is this. This is the Max Air fan. And because I haven't done one before, I wanted to give all my focus and attention to cutting a big ass hole in my roof. Pretty simple job, in all honesty. I was surprised how easy it was, and now I wish I did film it. And for those of you that follow me on Instagram, you will know that that is working, because I did pop a video up in one of my stories of it working. So I connected it up to one of my power stations via just a temporary repair onto a cigarette lighter socket. And that works an absolute treat. As you can see as well, there's a couple more goodies that have been fitted to this board here, starting with the 12-volt electrical cut-off switch. Always need one of them, so I can obviously kill the power if needs be at one point. From that, I've got the fuse box. And I've also managed to get my hands on the Victron solar charger controller as well, which is obviously Bluetoothed, so I can check all my data from the solar panel. And on the roof, on the same day that I fitted the Max Air fan, I managed to fit as well a 300 watt solar panel. Don't think I'm going to go any bigger than that. I don't think I'm going to have any more than that. One, it's because I'm not out in the van all the time. I'm only on it on a weekend. Another thing I've managed to get fitted also is my plug and play electric hookup. And I know quite a few of you guys were quite interested to find out what that was all about. So here we go, let me show you. So as you can see, it is an electric hookup consumer panel, and it all comes pre-wired with multi-plugs. So these two down here, you get two separate sockets. So that one will go and feed two sockets, that one will go and feed another two sockets. This one connects to your main supply. So this multi-plug here, which is wired into the socket that's in the side of the van, literally, mate, it is literally just plug and play. That's it. So if I ran a cable now from my house electrics into the side of the van, this consumer unit would now get power. Obviously I can't power anything because these are disconnected. So if you are in the process of doing a van build and 240 volt electric hookups not your bag, I'll leave a link in the description to this bit of kit. This kit, there's no wiring whatsoever involved. It's just a case of clipping a few multi-plugs together and screwing it to where you need to be. I think it was around the £150 mark. Whether that's cheap, whether that's expensive, I don't know. But for me, that certainly saved me, one, a lot of time wiring. Two, bloody killing myself with electrics. And three, I don't know what three is. It looks good. I'll stick with that. It looks good. Anyway, there'll be a link in the description for any of you guys that want to check that out if you're in the process of doing a van build yourself. Now, let's talk carpet. I've carpeted all those in the same colour, and you're probably looking, oh, well, that looks a different colour, David, and so does that. To be honest, you'll be right. The reason I did it in a different colour is because I just wanted to break up the grey a little bit, have a different transition of colours, and that's the reason why I opted to do that. I've done it this side too, also up here. I've even carpeted the battens as well, so you shouldn't really see them that much once all the cladding's on, all the little pieces of cladding that are going here. Vinyl flooring. This thing was an absolute joke to fit. And for any of you guys that have fitted vinyl flooring, you'll know what I'm talking about. Getting the shapes around the edges, cutting little bits here, cutting little bits there. It took me 3 hours, and I lost my rag with it a little bit, I must say. But it's actually come out rather well. I've also put some edging trim on as well now, just to take away those rough edges and make it look a little bit neater. So yeah, there is still little tedious jobs to be done, but again, it's the weekend and I'm going to be getting them done this weekend too. And one of those jobs is this. You guys might not be able to see that well, but I have fitted some vapor barrier material up here. And the process for today is getting all in here carpeted. How that goes, I have no idea, but hopefully it's going to be quite an easy job. It's just going to be a case of cutting a bit of carpet and spraying some glue. And we pretty much know that's bullshit. It's going to be a difficult job. It's going to be gluing. It's going to be sticking carpet. It's going to be routing that carpet into little nuts and crannies, and then it's going to be pulling it off, trying to spread it out. It's not as simple as it seemed, guys. But if you're doing a van build, you'll already know this. Quick update, just one more. Electrics, they're all in. They're all routed, and they come all the way down here. And they come out down there. So a lot of you, and I mean quite a lot of you, have been messaging me saying, can you make sure you do a good electrics video? I will do an electrics video, and I will sort of make it in a dumbed down guide for those of you that are beginners to it. So I'll go through about wiring, series, parallel, putting a switch in, and then hopefully that'll give you guys then some sort of education and hopefully some sort of inspiration to maybe tackle electrics on your own. One thing I will say, if you understand basic electrics, it is actually quite fun and enjoyable doing it, putting the crimps on, heat shrinking, and watching the end product, which is the consumer, operating. Oh, you're on the piss here a bit, lads and lasses. Anyway, that's it. That's the update of the van. That's where I'm at the moment. I'm going to be doing quite a bit more today anyway, so just make sure you stay tuned. Next week's video, I went back to my roots. I went back to doing a trail. I went back into the tent, and I tell you what, there is not a happy ending to that video. Again, if you follow me on Instagram, you will maybe have... No, actually, I didn't broadcast it on Instagram, but yeah, make sure you stay tuned. If not, go and check out a Shropshire Lads video. He's probably already put his up already. Thanks ever so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in another video. I don't know. See you later, folks. I'll feed the same pet. Yeah, you beauty. Oh, I should have used that. That's better. I said I'll see you later. Ta-da.